guys, welcome back to another episode of the Beauty Pop Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Jen. Are you ready to raise your eyebrows today?
Yes. My Botox wore off, so I can move my brows again.
Yeah, I gotta try that sometime. I'm so nervous, but
No.
I have these little lines here. Ugh.
And that's another thing we'll talk about. We should do a future episode on injectables. But yes, so today we're going to talk about brows, which is my lifelong battle. And They say that the brows are the draperies for your face, right? Isn't that old saying?
I guess
if you have bad brows,
I always heard the eyes are the windows to your soul, but okay.
But your brows are the
it.
draperies of your face. So, I have horrible brows. They got over waxed, not even tweezed, over waxed when I first started paying attention to my brows.
Okay. Well, that was the style. Remember, we all plucked the heck out of our brows. That was it.
I mean, the late 90s was just brutal.
It was brutal.
On brows.
It was like you were wearing so much, like so many clothes as far as your overalls went and your choker that you had to pluck off your brows for balance.
But it's wild to me, like when you see celebrities now who had the super pencil thin brows, like all of the supermodels had it. I don't think Cindy Crawford went as crazy with the thin brows as some of the other models.
Did. And Brooke Shields, remember, I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself here, but Brooke Shields was always known for her eyebrows. Always.
I interviewed her once and I literally said to her, because she came into the studio and I looked at her face. She's beautiful and so sweet. She's just could not be nicer. And I looked at her, I went, "You still have the brows." And she started laughing. She goes, "I'm getting old and they're thinning out." Like she was so sweet. But she was like, "That is one thing that I just have never touched." She said, "I just never." And she goes, "Everybody throughout my entire career, whether it's modeling or, when she was doing that TV show, Suddenly Susan."
I loved it. Yeah.
She said everybody just wanted, she goes, "I just see people with tweezers coming at me and everybody wants a piece of, they want to shape them." And she said, I just really didn't let anybody do that, which is why now she's probably late 50s,
has to be
mid to late 50s, right? That's why she still has brows. She never let anybody wax them or ruin them. And then you see somebody like, when you look back at 90s, No Doubt with Gwen Stefani, right? She had the thinnest, like a pencil had drawn them on. Like they looked ridiculous.
Makes you wonder what she's got for real now, because, there's all sorts of like beauty magic. I wonder if she has any at all. Do you think?
I follow her on Instagram and she posts mostly very heavily filtered videos and
heavily
pictures.
Made up, always.
Very heavily made up. When you look really closely, because I'm brow obsessed because I'm brow challenged. So it becomes like my obsession. So I am constantly studying people's brows. You can see where her makeup artist has drawn in a whole new boundary on the upper and underneath her brows. And it's blended
I don't
well.
Love that. I know, but
it's blended pretty well. But I think there's one celebrity who to me, above and beyond, has the best brow fill-in makeup artist. Does he have any brows?
He has the brow that goes way up when he asks if you can smell what the Rock is cooking.
Right. But
a lot of muscle control on that face.
Now I'm trying to think about, does he even have brows?
I think
or just very strong muscles where the brows would be.
I know.
Right? He does have those crazy brows. But I think that whoever does J-Lo's makeup, she has sort of thinner brows, probably left over from the 90s of too much waxing. But when her makeup artist fills them in, they look feathery and light and they look really, really good. They're full. I think it's a better job than whoever's doing Gwen's makeup.
She's, they're both gorgeous, but yeah, there's something about J-Lo where she made
J-Lo.
some sort of deal with some sort of devil. I mean, the girl is just gorgeous no matter what.
I know. So I think she has amazing celebrity brows. Now, all of the Kardashians also have incredible brows, and Kim and Kourtney post all the time, like throwback pics.
Right.
And they did the super thin 90s brows.
Oh, sure.
So I'm always kind of wondering, what did they do?
Well, they're kind of in our age range, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe. They're all, at least those Kardashians are in our age range. So they went through those same trends. And they definitely have much thicker brows. I think it's funny that there was a trend with brows, but there clearly was. I look at pictures of me in high school and I have caterpillars. just like really thick brows. And then all of a sudden it must have like kicked in when I graduated high school and I'm plucking the heck out, and then I have no brows left. And it's really one of those things that I wish we could just erase from our face. We would look silly, but there's something so annoying about eyebrows to me because I have a nice arch naturally, but I never thought of them before. Like I would get them waxed or I'd get them do the threading or whatever, but I never, ever, ever used any product on my brows until about 2 years ago. Not a
like
product.
No pencil, no
not
gel,
a pencil. I always
nothing.
thought the pencil was weird. I thought the pencil was something my grandmother used to just draw a line
where
her eyebrows had fallen out.
Yep.
So I never used anything, and I just kind of let it go and didn't do much. But now, after finding some products, and I think there actually are better products out today than there ever have been. I really like doing my brows, and I notice a difference, especially in photos when I
that's
when I darken them and fill them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you get like the tail, right? If you want that to be extended and a little bit fuller, that I find is what makes the biggest difference in pictures. When I look at pictures of myself, that's where, because it that really on the outer corners of your brows, that's really what frames your face.
So what do I need to do? I never go longer than my eyebrow. I only go with the hair. I follow the hair.
Oh, really? So so the tail, right? Like I think it's less important to do by the, by your nose, your inner, the inner arches are sort of less important, but you want to get the tail up here where the arch is, right? That's where you want to be darker and just extend a little bit down on the edges. And it makes a really big difference because it totally frames your face. Try it next time. And I mean, you might be like, oh, that looks terrible, but you might like it.
Do you like how I'm just looking at myself?
Yeah, I know. You and I are doing the same thing. We're like looking at our cameras.
Well, okay. Before we go into like the color and the shaping though, can we complain about that weird random hair that grows 12 feet overnight that like randomly sticks up this way when you're trying to, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Just
I have one.
Yeah. There's one.
I have one that I've had as long as I have had eyebrows, probably. And the weirdest thing is, and this is probably genetic because premature gray hair runs on my dad's side of the family. Like when my brother was like a 10-year-old kid, he would go and get a haircut and the barber would be like, you have gray hair. Like,
so you've got a gray, like boinger one
I have one, right? That has maybe about 1/4 of an inch is gray. And then the end of it is black, like the rest of my hair. It's the weirdest thing. I have no idea.
My brows are like this awful color because I've got my natural color is like dish blonde hair. Like, it's just dark blonde, brown now at this point, like not brown, but just dark. And so my eyebrows are that color and they're just, it's just awful. It's just awful. It's like just an in-between color. It needs to be either darker, I don't know, lighter. But then I feel like if I bleach them, then I'd look like a albino person. Not that there's anything wrong
the bleaching.
With that.
The bleaching thing, that's not a good thing. All right. So then let's get into it. So what do you use to fill in your brows?
Okay, so I'm telling you, it's new. I'm new to brow maintenance because other than just
that's crazy to me because I think of you as the queen of eye makeup.
I know,
and your brows is like you've been ignoring them,
not my hairy eyebrow.
You've been ignoring
I'm nervous talking. For some reason, talking about eyebrows makes me nervous. Talking about any facial, I'm like all skeeved out, checking my chin hair, making sure everything's in place. So I have found 2 products that I really love. I have never found love for a brow pencil. I'm just not a fan. I think you can see it. I don't think it's even. And so when I started hearing about pomades and the gels, that's what intrigued me. And so I've tried a bunch of different brow products over the last couple of years, and I have 2 that I really like. The first one I use when I just am in a hurry and I'm just doing like basic casual makeup like today, just a little bit of color, just to darken things up. And the product that I'm loving right now is, it's called Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax, and it's by Lawless. So it's a new product, relatively new to Sephora. I just picked it up, but it's the best one I found for really quick work. So it's Lawless.
How do you apply
Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax? And I have, just in case you want to know the color, I use the light medium. Okay. And it's a little tube, looks like a little tiny small mascara tube, but it's soft. And it's got like this very small spoolie brush on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Small.
I was thinking this was like a tub and you needed like a brush. I'm like, how is this quick?
Oh no, that's not the quick one. That's the other one I have. So this one is, and like I said, just a little small spoolie. It's almost like a third of a mascara spoolie.
Okay.
And you just comb it through your brows. What I like about it is it gets all those unruly ones in order. It helps you see right away if the boinger has popped up overnight. So you can just trim that puppy down, and it gives you a little bit of color. So that's my throw on just on weekends or when I'm doing more casual makeup.
And it's good for, it sets and then it doesn't smudge. And
so what I've noticed,
some of them smudge.
Some of them smudge. Don't like that. Mm-mm. Some of them also make your brows feel really heavy, like waxy and disgusting. Don't like that either. This is just very natural. Like I'm touching my brows right now. It feels like I have nothing in them, but there is at least a little bit of color to them that just kind of darkens up. And like you said, frames your face.
Yeah.
Now, my very, very favorite, and this should have been part of our influencer episode because I was actually influenced by someone I follow on Instagram who has really pretty, gorgeous, full brows. And
I'm like getting my phone so I can check her out.
I think it's called Reefy. I can't even imagine it's a refi like a home loan, but it's REFY. How would you say that? Refi? I guess.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
So apparently refi with refi.
Refi Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the set that I have actually comes, and I got this on Sephora. It comes as a little threesome set. You can buy all of the products separately, but get the set. Do yourself a favor.
Oh, I see this.
Go a shade or so darker. I always get the medium, I think, because I want a little bit more color. And it comes with the brow pencil, which I hardly ever use because I told you how I feel about brow pencils.
Yeah.
But it also comes with the white gel. So it's got like it looks like a mascara wand. Mm-hmm. And it's got a white cream/gel that you put on first. And you just let it go through your brows. So that straightens everything. You brush them upwards to get that nice full look. And then you take the pomade and you unscrew the cap, and inside the cap is the color. So that's like the little pot of colors inside the cap. The brush comes out and you take a little bit of color from inside the cap and you just sort of paint it on your brows. And you could totally extend with this. That's what I'm going to try next. And this is the best product that I have tried, hands down, ever for my brows. The other end of that same tool with the brush and the pomade on the end of it has a little like kind of brow comb. So if you want to, you can kind of get more definition. More
precise. Yeah.
And more precise after you're done with that. The next step would be to take that pencil and start filling it in. I don't really use the pencil very much because I feel like you don't need to, but it gives you perfectly set brows that last all day. The color lasts all day. The shape lasts all day. It literally 10 out of 10, best product that I have found. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel waxy, but it stays and it holds, and the color is amazing. And it really does, adding that depth and a little bit of color to that area makes people focus in more on your eyes. And I think, as you mentioned, it is a perfect face framer. So I'm a really big fan of this product, and it's costly. It's not cheap. I think it runs probably somewhere around $50 or $60 for all three, but it's fantastic.
But I would also imagine that would probably last a while.
It lasts a while. This is my second go round. So that tells you that I like it. So I purchased it, I think probably around my birthday. So from February till literally, I just ordered new probably a couple weeks ago. So at least 6 months or so. And the products stay fresh.
Yeah.
It's excellent. And I use it almost every day because I put on full makeup almost every day.
Right. Right. Wow. That seems like of that category, right? Of a sort of pomade, kind of, if you have fullness, but they're unruly, that sounds like the perfect product.
Yeah.
My issue is
you want to add bulk.
So my issue is, and I've gone through 5 years ago, leading up to our wedding, I got my eyebrows microbladed.
This is why I wanted to do this topic, because I'm so interested in knowing more about microblading. Okay, so give me all the scoop.
I'll just be very honest. I have a love-hate relationship with microblading. 5 years ago, when I had it done, it looked great. And that was the individual, it's like a little tiny blade with like tattoo ink, but they just don't go as far into the skin as a tattoo. But it hurts like a bitch. Like it really hurts. They numb you. It still didn't numb me enough. It's painful. It hurts.
Yeah.
So, but they go in and with this little blade, almost like an X-Acto knife, they just draw like a little, they draw these individual little hair like cuts, basically.
Yeah, little wispy cuts, right?
Yeah, and then they fill it in, with the ink. Now, the one good thing about microblading, the end result looks great. You do have to go back in 6 weeks, and then they can go and fill in a place, sometimes like it'll fall out or your skin doesn't absorb it. So you go back 6 weeks later, they'll perfect it. The girl did a great job. It lasted me a solid 3 years, which they say 1 to 3 is kind of like that's usually.
So you got the maximum
range
out of it.
I got the max out of it before I had to also add in a pencil to fill in the places that had faded out. Then I was left with pretty much, now 5 years later, I had nothing left. So I'm trying to think what month it was. It was in the summertime. So maybe maybe it was the spring. The spring of this year. Because I remember I did it again, and then I showed you a picture and I was like, oh my God, look at my brows. Mm-hmm. So the spring of this year, I went to a place not in New York. The girl doesn't do it anymore. She moved away from New York and now we live in New Jersey. So I found a new place, and the woman was great, like really knows her stuff. And we did a combination this time of microblade for some little wispies towards the inner arches. And then she does, I forget what it's actually called. It's like shading. It's like ombre shading.
Okay.
On the tails. Now I've been to her twice. I still have to go back again because for whatever reason, and I don't know if my skin composition has changed in 5 years. It didn't absorb the ink the way it did from the first time I did it. So I've had some issues. Now the microblading works. It just seems to work better on me. That kind of sticks around more. But the shading that she did, which is more on the arches, and you can see it's much more faded there. So that's where I need to go back in. But that's the healing part of that. I would just caution everyone, if you're thinking of doing this, the downtime, either way, you're not supposed to sweat. You have to be very careful. You can't let the shower hit your face.
It scabs up too, doesn't it?
Well, microblading never scabbed for me.
Okay.
And within 7 or 8 days, I was fully healed. So I liked that. The shading, which is odd because it doesn't even go in as far into the skin when they do the shading thing, and it doesn't hurt as much either. It's almost like a broader tool, and it's sort of just like kind of, you feel like they move really quickly over your skin. It's like if you've had a tattoo, it's like when they fill it in, it doesn't hurt as much as when they draw the outline, right?
Right.
So it didn't hurt as much, but it also scabbed up pretty badly. And, I just didn't think the results were that great. Hence,
didn't you have some place to go to where you said you were worried about looking crazy because your eyebrows were peeling scabs off?
Yeah. We had to go out to dinner with friends, and I broke down and I texted them, and I'm like, just don't stare. I was like, look, this is what I had done. I look like a crazy person. They were patchy. It was a mess. I understand some people like that powder brow. That's what it is. It's not ombre. It's the powder brow.
The powder brow, right.
So some people like that look more because it's a little more, I guess, natural looking. For me, I would much rather have the microblade, and go back in and have more of the individual ones done. We'll see what happens. I haven't had enough downtime for healing, so I haven't gone back for my third treatment, but I definitely need to do it. It's expensive. Here's the other thing. It's expensive, right? The downsides. So it's about between $900 and $1,100.
That is expensive.
So it's expensive. It's painful. I've never known anyone who's like, oh yeah, it didn't hurt at all. It is painful. The healing, if you do the microblading, the healing, you have to be careful with it, right? You have to put ointment on every day. You have to wash it every couple hours. Like, there is definitely some high maintenance with the recovery. With the brow powder, I found that to be much more difficult. And 10 days later, there were some scabs that were peeling off 10 days later. The other downside, I'm at a point now where I have patches where there's just no hair. And so it's either I'm taking a pencil and I'm completely drawing on eyebrows every day, I mean, not completely, but you know what I mean? Either that was going to be my life and I just couldn't do it anymore because I had lost all the shape from the original microblade. So then I didn't even have a stencil, to kind of like fill in where it had gone awry. And so it's a lot of maintenance. And I also kind of feel like once you start doing it, you have to keep doing it.
You got to keep up. Yeah.
So you have to keep doing it every 1 to 3 years. And I don't know how long this is going to last, but these are really faded. So I don't know. I don't know at this point that I would be like, yes, it's the best decision ever. I don't know. Some people have incredible results. Then I also heard from a dermatologist recently. I saw something on TikTok, and apparently if you keep doing this, it builds up enough scar tissue that whatever hairs would have grown in don't anymore.
Oh, see, they should tell you that, because then
no one's
once
ever
you
told
do
me
it,
that.
you really do have to keep doing it.
No one's
and who's
ever
going to
told
do
me
this
that.
when they're 70? So then you're just going to have no eyebrows.
I actually am, I even said to this new technician who's been working on them, I said, I'm like, you know what, should I just get permanent tattooed eyebrows? And she was like, no, because she said, I have older women who come to me and I have to fix them because as their skin sags, so do their brows.
Oh, see, that's terrible.
So she has to then take off the permanent tattoo and give them microblade to give them a new shape and a lift.
Have you thought about baby toupees?
You're going to laugh at me. What are those things that they call merkins, right?
Merkins,
Shakespeare. I know your mom was a Shakespearean.
I would have used that term, but I'd never know if anybody understands.
Yeah, I know, right? I was an English major, so I know a merkin is. I don't even know what the point of a merkin was, but back in Shakespearean days, it was literally a toupee for your pubes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what
to show that you were like young and virile.
Is that? I don't know. Yeah, I guess. So anyway, so it's funny when you just say toupee for your eyebrows, it makes me think of merkins. Yeah. But you will laugh because the next thing I do when I save up enough, I think the next thing I'm going to do is a brow transplant.
Come on.
I'm dead serious.
Who gives you the hair? Who's the donor body?
You, from the back of your head.
So wait, so you take your own head hair and you put it over. Really? Does it get extra long though? Do you have to like trim it?
Yes. And you're going to laugh because I always reference her and you're like, oh God, I hate her. Chrissy Teigen had it done.
Oh God.
Because she has brows, I guess, that were very patchy and kind of sparse. And she's done, which another thing that you should probably try because you actually you're not missing brows. No. I bet you would love brow lamination.
That's what I was. Okay. So that actually, I was going to bring it up because I have been thinking about doing that.
I know I have several girlfriends who've done it and it looks incredible. And it lasts, I think, about 6 weeks.
And it looks good.
It looks great. So if you have brows that just seem a little unruly or whatever, and you can't like get them to go in the right direction, go for a brow lamination. Yeah. It's not even that expensive and it lasts 6 to 8 weeks. So I would say if I had more brows, that's what I would do. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a great.
Instead, you're going to transplant your head.
Okay. So when Chrissy Teigen, all right.
You have to please just let it grow so I could braid them together,
Oh my God. I'm telling you, if you don't follow Chrissy Teigen on Instagram, just go and take a look because she has posted pictures post-transplant. And she's like, oh my God, they're so thick. And so what happens is they harvest the hairs from the lower back of your neck, right?
Yeah.
Like where your hairline is, which seems weird because it's also a very different texture than natural brow hair.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
So that's strange. But so then they go and they individually do a hair transplant with the root. So they like treat the root of the hair that they take.
It's like AstroTurf.
Yeah. But just like, how like bald men have been doing hair plugs for how many years now? It's the same thing. And so apparently a lot of like post-cancer patients whose brows never came back.
Yeah.
Apparently like that's a big thing for them to instead of just tattooing, this is like the new way. So once Chrissy started talking about it, I'm like, all right, what the hell is this? Because, anything with brows, I'm like, I'm listening.
Right.
So I started Googling it and a ton of beauty editors have actually done it. And to mixed results, which is why I haven't really like jumped on this. Plus it's expensive. I've seen prices anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000.
Wow. Chrissy
Teigen probably paid $20,000,
or didn't because she's talking about it on Instagram.
That's true. But I don't know if she actually mentioned who did it. So she may have actually paid for it. But so what happens is, so they do the implant just like hair transplant or hair plugs. And then I guess there's a shedding process where they look really full right after, and then all the hair falls out. And 3 months later, the new hair from the plugs has now started to grow in. And I guess you get results like 6 months from the procedure.
What if it doesn't work? Then are you just bald there forever?
I think if it doesn't work, there was one of the I think it was Allure. Pretty sure it was Allure. There was a beauty editor who had it done in Manhattan, and she had done microblading. She had done like several rounds of it. And she found that, like what the dermatologist said, the hairs that were growing in were no longer growing in anymore because of scar tissue that had been built up. So she was pretty much at the point where, like me, either you pencil them in for the rest of your life or you come up with another solution.
Yeah.
So she went to a hair transplant expert on Park Avenue. Apparently there are more doctors than I would have realized that actually are already doing this. Mm-hmm. And so she had it done, and she said that the results were incredible, and she showed before and afters and everything. And she went through the same shedding period, that Chrissy Teigen talked about. And then they're just long. And then she was able to get them laminated, and they looked incredible. So this is the thing. I've learned that if you do, because, your hair texture is different, right? From your head onto your brows. I think Chrissy said she has to trim hers like every 2 days.
I would imagine
like she's trimming, right? Which I would love to have that problem.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to cut them down and
than
style
to make
them
bulkier for sure.
Yeah. Than to like draw them on. So I would love to have that problem. Like I'd have all the time in the world for that. I'd be okay. And so this Allura beauty editor had the same thing where she was showing like the length that was growing in. And, she was just trimming them. And then when they finally came in and they were full and they looked amazing. Like, here's the other thing. This is a real art form. So you got to make sure you go to a doctor who knows exactly what the shape of your brow should be.
Right.
Because
you don't want the straight across caterpillar. Yeah.
Right. But if you think about it, the slightest wrong angle, right? It's kind of like a hair plug on a man. The slightest wrong angle, and you got a wonky brow going in the wrong direction, right? Like, I mean, this is dicey. This is dicey stuff. But Chrissy, she hit her 6 month and her eyebrows look incredibly full and amazing. She's also done brow lamination, which just keeps them perfect. You wake up, you shower, like you don't even have to think about your brows. I would love to live in a world where I never have to think about my brows ever again. I'm not in that world yet, but I would love to be in that world. I am so jealous of Kardashians and J-Lo and everybody else with good brows. Transplant. I don't know. Their eyebrows are all, have you ever noticed that all the Kardashians had the exact same brows?
Well, they all have the same face also.
Most of the same doctor.
The same doctor who obviously uses the same mold.
Yeah, basically they went in together and said, we want to continue to look like a family. Correct. So we're all going to get the same face. We work
in the same direction here.
We're all going to get the same
the only one who hasn't started to migrate and look the same is Kendall. I mean, everybody else sort of like has migrated into the same head.
She is standing out more and more against the rest of them. That's
1,000%.
Yeah.
You look at the before and after pictures of those girls and you're like, dude, I mean, where did they go?
Money does it.
Yeah.
They all look fantastic. I'm not.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Them
look,
at all.
I'm not saying that they're
amazing.
not, and I'm not hating on them. It's just it's a different look.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's sort of like my brow goals. And I feel like after this, whatever I have now for microblading, and when I get my final treatment,
can I be a brow donor for you, or?
Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing?
Well, I was just wondering, when people die and give their body to science, why don't they just like give their hair?
Can you imagine if that was actually like there was a market, like you donate your brows when you die?
Yeah.
Like you are a beautiful person with amazing brows and, you're already giving your organs. Why not just give your brow like a skin graft?
Would that be something?
So gruesome.
I'll be like, nobody wants this ass, but if you want my boobs and my brows.
Right. I mean, it's very sci-fi, but it's not like that crazy, right? I mean, we're already talking about eyebrow transplants.
I've got a really nice big toe. Would anybody like to have that?
Somebody with a wonky toe might like that, right? You never know. So that's my brow journey, which is not it's not a great one.
It's not a great one. I'm sad, actually. It's a little sad.
It is sad because it's like, yeah, I mean, it changes your face,
Right. No,
and now
does.
because the ink it's just not dark enough. So I still have so much coloring in to do. The only difference is that at least I have a stencil, like I have an outline. You know?
Have the outline that you use.
I can color
looking
them
at you right now, I would never know you have brow issues. I think they look great, and they're perfectly symmetrical. Perfectly symmetrical.
See how it's faded there? Can you see that?
Not really, but my eyesight's terrible. But no, I don't. I think it looks fine. I think it looks good.
You're very kind.
But that's true. I would tell you if I thought it was weird.
So when I literally one day appear on camera with a brow transplant and Harpo Marx, right? Is that the guy with the brows?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have like massive
You're gonna come
brows.
out smoking as a hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Beauty Farm podcast.
Right. My eyebrows.
I've been telling you for a long time. I've been wanting to have this hair transplant. See?
Right. Exactly. That's gonna be me. In the meantime, I do have 2 recommendations for sad brow people. For all my sad brow sisters and brothers, there are some brothers out there who definitely, need
a brow.
They need a brow. And so my 2 recommendations for the best products that help me fill in. Mm-hmm. See, you're in the different category because you already have all the hairs. You just need some control.
Yes.
If you are like me and you really do need to fill in, a pencil is really, the only kind of option.
It's the only thing, right?
I don't like a traditional chalky pencil, not like an eyeliner chalky pencil. The best products that I've found, Anastasia Brow Bar.
Ooh,
so she's Anastasia Beverly Hills. She is the
you can really go
queen.
See her. Actually, I know one of her clients who gets her brows done there.
Yeah, all the Kardashians go to her for shaping and whatever else they do. So she is the brow queen. And her product, she has 2 different pencils. One is thicker and I don't like it. It's an angled, thicker kind of tip. I didn't have good luck with that. But she has the Brow Wiz Ultra Slim. It's a retractable, it's a detail pencil. And it's like almost like a smooth gel. Like it's a gel kind of formula. So it looks very natural. You can really get in there. Like I need to be precise. So like I can really get in there and fill it in and, and even draw like thinner lines and stuff. It's great. So, and it's $25 and one pencil lasts me with bad brows at least 6 to 8 months.
Wow. So that's a deal.
I don't mind spending the money on that. Now, if you want to go on more of a budget level, I don't know how they do it, but Winky Lux, we've talked about them. I love
that brand. It's a fun brand.
It's a fun brand. They're at Target. I think they're at Ulta as well. I don't think I've seen them at Sephora, but I just get my Winky Lux, the lower lash mascara that we talked about in our mascara episode. I just buy that at Target from Winky Lux. They make a brow pencil that's a similar material, like in terms of its similar texture, kind of like a gel glide on kind of color. Not like a liquid eyeliner or anything like that. It's not that pigmented, but it's a really smooth application. And it's this color it mystifies me because it is a universal color, but it works because my natural hair color is very dark brown and my brows are very dark brown. So I use medium brown from Anastasia if I'm using that pencil. And when I've run out, and I got the Winky Lux one, I got it in the Allure Beauty box when I was a subscriber. I was like, I'll try this. And I didn't believe that it was a universal color. It is. I'd be very curious to see how it would be on your color brows.
Yeah.
Because you've got like what I would say is dark blonde.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if it would work on the lighter shades, but I'm telling you, the only thing I don't like about it, the pencil, it's too thick. So what I do is I pretty much do like one little, I kind of just draw one line right in the middle of my brow. Then I go back to the little tiny spool from the Anastasia, and then I fill it in and blend it because it's just too, it's just, I wish they made a thinner.
Lux. I'll have to see. Next time I go to Target, I'll have to pop it in my cart.
Yeah, and it has its own spool at the other end, but I find that it's just too thick.
Yeah.
I need more precision. but the color blends like you would not believe. And if I'm not wearing any foundation and I just want to fill in my brows a little bit and have like a minimalist look, it blends so well. The Anastasia medium brown for me, I can only wear if I'm wearing a full face of makeup.
Right.
It just looks too harsh and a little too dark. But the Winky Lux, I'm telling you, and it's cheap, like $10 maybe.
It's a good brand. And that Target section, can we just give that an honorable mention? Their new like push for the beauty at Target, it's wild. It's a great makeup section. You've got all your drugstore brands, but then they brought in like little mini Ultas into Target. So you can get a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah. The Target near me, which is only about 15 minutes away, they have revamped that whole makeup section. So when you first walk into the store, it's kind of what, and it's well lit. It's lit differently than the rest of the store. Like they really put a lot of thought into it. And the brands are great. You can discover all kinds of different brands that I'd never heard of. A lot of K-beauty, which is interesting. They've definitely gone heavy into
in that direction for sure.
Yeah. And it's not expensive and you can find great stuff. I also love that they have a ton. I don't know if you've noticed all the sample sizes.
I love that stuff.
Right?
Because then you can try something and see if you like it before you invest, which is something I really like to do.
Yeah. So I have tried so many different brow products, brow serums, never, ever even saw nary a hair grew in.
No, not even one.
Not even a single sad hair. Nothing grew in. There's one serum that just came out now. It's brand new from Augustinus Bader, which, is that's my moisturizer at night. Oh my God, it's the best. It's so, it's ridiculously expensive, but it's great. They have a new brow and lash serum. It's $150. But apparently their clinical results, because everything's very clinical testing and everything with them, apparently the results are really good. I just can't. I've had no luck with any serum. So I just find it hard to bite the bullet and invest that much money in something that I just don't think is going to work.
Yeah. You got to see if there are any reviews and stuff. Watch and see what people say first.
Yeah. So that is one to watch because it's new. Yeah. So I want to see what real life women, what their results are like with that. Cause it's just, it's a lot of money to invest. And I could just add that towards,
especially for something that you don't know. Cause if you're saving for a surgery, you might as well save it for a surgery.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can save it towards my brow transplant, which by the way, can you imagine it sounds so crazy, when you think about it. And then I'm like, I'd be like the girl who died getting a brow transplant, right? Victoria tragically died while getting a brow transplant, because that's so necessary.
Worth it.
Yeah, right. So, and there are from what I've read, there are some horrible complications that can happen, as you can imagine.
It's scary, right? With anything, especially when you're moving something to somewhere else.
I know
that can grow hair.
I know. And I kind of feel like Chrissy Teigen didn't need it because she already had full brows. Now I know that she pointed out she's got some patchiness and she has, she's half Thai. Right. And so her mom also I think has tattooed brows. A lot of Asian women suffer from
they don't have a lot of
brows and they don't have a lot there. So she definitely has a mix of, white dad and her mom's from Thailand and has those issues. So I understand why she probably wanted something to kind of fill in on a more permanent basis. She has also done microblading. And that's the one thing. She's a little bit of a whack job, but I do appreciate that she's honest.
Yeah, I do appreciate that too. I think the celebrities who say, oh yeah, I just wake up like this in the morning, as I do. You've had a lot of surgery.
You've had a lot of work done. Yeah. And right. And that's the thing. It's I do appreciate that she's very candid about all that stuff. She had her implants removed and she was like, you know what, she showed the scars and she's like, I don't care. She's like, I needed to get them out. I feel better without them. It is what it is. I'm not going to have laser surgery for the scars. I do appreciate that because it just doesn't exist in Hollywood. Everything is a facade. And even I love Gwen Stefani and I've loved her forever. But even when she does, her makeup videos, she has that give line from Sephora. It's I think it's lip gloss and maybe eyeliner.
She's got some lipsticks. Yeah. And stuff. Yep.
But even in her videos where she supposedly has no makeup on, it's you can see a full face of makeup.
Right. I've never seen her without makeup.
I don't think
one's skin is that good.
I don't even know if Blake Shelton has seen her without makeup. I would not be surprised if she's one of those girls who wakes up early in the morning before the man wakes up,
deceiving him, going, look at, I woke up like this. See?
Yep. Yeah. I would not be surprised by that. But, look, to each his own. I want, and you and I feel the same way about this. Every woman should feel the best they can possibly
feel. And if it makes you feel better to do the makeup, no makeup, the surgery, whatever makes you feel good, just don't make don't be pressured in by trends. Just do what's going to make you feel better.
I do think it is funny if someday I get a brow transplant. I've been
then thin brows come back.
And then, right. And I'll be the one looking like,
because, in the future, we do not have eyebrows. I think in many of those TV shows I've seen, the eyebrows start to disappear. We start to look,
it is that sort of sci-fi look, which is a very weird look when you don't have brows.
I can't pull it off. I feel like I can't pull it off.
No, it's too Robert Durst, when he shaved his brows to murder his neighbor. Oh my God.
Maybe that's what he said. Maybe when he said, I did it, he was just talking about an eyebrow transplant or something.
Yeah. He's lucky he shaved them off and they grew back fine. He's lucky. Because if I did that, I would literally be left with nothing forever, I think.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Well, if you have suggestions for us, by the way, you can always email them to us as well. Maybe you have products you're like, guys, try these. These are really great. We would love to hear that from you too.
Absolutely. And I really, really want you to be the guinea pig to do the brow lamination.
I'll do the lamination. I've actually thought about it. Maybe I'll do it around Christmas time. What do you think?
Yes.
Little holiday
I can't wait to see it. Yeah,
right.
I can't wait.
I'll try it. I'll be your guinea
just
pig.
because like I've seen so many women online, on Instagram posting pictures of it. The place that did my microblading, I guess typically they do it after you're finished with your treatment, and they'll also do brow lamination. I don't know that I'm never going to get to that point. I just don't think I have enough to laminate, but I would love to see how it looks on you because you've got full brows. You don't really have that issue.
Make them look crazy. I know.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
I'll do it. I'll try for the podcast. How about that?
Take one for the team.
I'll do it for you.
Yes. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Beauty Pop. Make sure you follow us so you never miss a new episode, and leave us a rating and review if you can. That would be really great. Thank you again so much. We've gotten such nice reviews.
Really nice ones. I just looked the other day. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We love that. And, like Jen said, if you have any products or anything that you want us to try out or review or talk about a topic, then, you can always hit us up on Instagram at BeautyPopPod, or you can email us at beautypoppod@gmail.com. So we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening.